Friends, let me just encourage you with this. There is no guru, wise guy, or anyone who should have more authority in your life than Jesus. Now, I know we're in church. We call ourselves Christians. It's the very term of who we identify ourselves as, to use the word Christ, to say that we follow Jesus. But in practical terms, we have got to be the kind of people who would say, no one in my life is higher than Jesus. In fact, I want to give you two challenging statements that I want to ask you to take home with you to make a reality in your life. And here they are. Statement number one: I will trust nothing so highly as the words and life of Jesus. Not tritely, not saying, okay, yeah, I can accept that, but seriously, I will put no authority in my life higher than the words and life of Jesus. And just to prove to us that perhaps we're not ready to make this commitment, and that we need God's help to do this, or we need to actually, put it into our hearts and make it real, I'm going to give you a quiz. Okay, here's the quiz. We're going to talk about what did Jesus say and what didn't he say. So I'm going to put these things on the screen, and I want you to actually make a decision in your heart about whether or not Jesus said this, and then I'll tell you if you're right. Okay? Here's the first statement. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Often colloquialized in our day and age today is to say that money is the root of all evil. No, the statement in the Bible is for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Okay? Have you made your decision? Did Jesus say it or didn't he? No, Paul did. That's in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. Okay? How many of you got it right? Okay, good. About half of you. You got 100%. Keep going. The next one is this. God helps those who help themselves. There's some laughter in the room. Some of you know the answer to this one. Okay? Make your decision. Did Jesus say these words? Or did someone else say these words? As a matter of fact, they're not in the Bible at all. Remove that from your vocabulary. Take that part of your brain where you heard that at one point and just, cut it out. God does not help those who help themselves. God helps those who are helpless, just like you and me. Praise God for that. The people who can help themselves are the Pharisees, and Jesus isn't too pleased with them sometimes. Okay, here's the next one. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Made your decision on that one? Sounds fundamentalist Islam, doesn't it? Who said it? Actually, that was Jesus. Matthew 5:30. Please, before you cut off any of your bodily appendages, talk to me. We'll discuss the application of that principle at some point in time. Okay, here's your next statement. Do to others what you would have them do to you. Okay, that's a golden rule. It's been around for forever. Did Jesus say it first? What do you think? Well, as a matter of fact, the golden rule has been around for centuries before Jesus. But it's always been phrased in the negative. It's always been, do not do to others what you would not have them do to you. As a matter of fact, Jesus is the first person to ever put it in the positive. To say, take action and do to others what you would have them do to you. It's in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. Okay, here's the next one. If you do not forgive, you won't be forgiven. That sounds pretty harsh. I don't know if Jesus could say that, right? What do you think? Did Jesus say that? Yeah. Matthew 6:15, Jesus said that. What about this one? Show no pity. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. What do you think? Make your decision? All right, well, that was Moses. Deuteronomy 19:21. Okay? Got a couple more here. The first will be last. Did Jesus say that? Make your decision? Yeah. Matthew 20:16. How many of you have an all right so far? The group is much smaller now. Praise God for you guys. Hopefully you weren't lying. Here's the last one. Hate the sin, love the sinner. Jesus say that? Are you ready? That one's actually not in the Bible. That one is something that Jesus lived out, but he didn't say it. It's not in the Bible. So, my challenge to you is that if you got any one of those wrong, and even those of you who claim to have gotten them all right, it is our responsibility to know Jesus inside and out, to know him deeply. I regularly get people telling me that I don't understand the Bible, or I don't know what to read, or where to start. Start with Jesus. I mean, it's stories. You can read stories. Jesus teaches with stories. He teaches stories about soils and plants. He teaches stories about people praying to receive God's blessing. He tells stories about husbands and wives and whether they're married or getting divorced. He tells stories about all kinds of stuff. In fact, everything that you need to know about your life is basically answered in one of the principles that Jesus taught. And the reason Jesus is such a linchpin of the whole Bible is that we are told he is God's final word. In other words, everything in the Old Testament points to Jesus. Everything in the New Testament is reflecting upon who Jesus was. And Jesus' words and life together are the hinge point of all that God has for us to know. I cannot emphasize this enough. And so my last challenge to you for today is this. Here's your take home. I will understand the entire Bible through the lens of Jesus. Everything in the Bible either points to or reflects upon Jesus and who he is. Jesus himself in Luke 24:27. We read this part of the story. It says, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, Jesus explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. And then in Matthew 5:17, Jesus says, do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. So he became as much superior to the angels as the name he has inherited is superior to theirs. The author of Hebrews ends with that phrase in our passage. You might wonder, where is that coming from? It's important for us to recognize that the word angels in Greek means messenger. And what the author is trying to tell us is that there has never been